Sports Illustrated is partnering with Polygon to launch an NFT ticketing platform. NFT ticketing is a concept that has been around for a long time. Some of the people affiliated with Monero and Yat tried to do something similar all the way back in 2019. And it makes a lot of sense on its face. If you're the issuer, you can, especially on a layer 2 like Polygon, issue tickets relatively cheaply, distribute them digitally, and make sure that they're only the same number that you want there to be. So I find this really interesting and exciting. We can talk more about what Sports Illustrated actually is these days. But has anybody actually used an NFT ticket at any point yet? Because I know they exist.
Like
Wendy,
the POAPs?
Are you? It's almost like an inverse POAP, right?
Yeah. I used one at NFT NYC last year to get into an event. I don't remember anything about it, but all I remember was it was pretty easy. There was no kind of user issue, and I have a lot of issues when it comes to these things.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely an endorsement. It does have to be easy.
I will say, I think that this is really cool. I think ticketing and NFTs go hand in hand. I just remember listening to my daughter's father talk about all the cool concerts he went to, like way back in the 90s, and he doesn't have any of those tickets because they were paper. So I feel like it would be super cool to see somebody's history of every single event that they went to. I know I'm talking about music, but even like in relation to sports, like sports people are die-hard fans. Like these guys go absolutely bonkers. So for them to be like, oh my God, I went to this, I went to that, I went to that. I just think it'd be super cool, especially for a sports fan. And I even think that there could potentially be a secondary market to buy those as like memorabilia later on or sell them to somebody, just because the secondhand market for a lot of the sports memorabilia, rock memorabilia, all that stuff, people will buy used tickets, all of that jazz. So I'm bullish. I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. I love that it's on Matic Polygon. Full disclosure, I am invested in this project. But the reason why I'm bullish on it is because they did something similar with Starbucks, and it is very affordable, and they're making it kind of easy to use. So I think it's super cool. Jen?
Yeah, so I want to talk about the ticketing industry, right? It's one that is just ripe for disruption. If you think about all of the drama around Ticketmaster lately when it comes to pricing, fan demand, it having this like monopolistic hold on live events, and you think about the offering that NFT tickets can offer to fans, I think it just makes sense. We talk about these music NFT projects so often, and they have, their community built in. You can get perks, but like if you want to go to the concert, you have to buy your tickets from a different platform. I think to have all of this under one umbrella, if we can get the user experience right, it makes a lot of sense. Wendy, you mentioned the Polygon partnership. They're also partnering with Consensus on this, who I think the last time we spoke about Consensus raised a massive round. I think it was over $400 million. I stand to be corrected. And they said they were focusing on UI and mainstream adoption. So I think for them to partner on this project totally makes sense. They have a ton of money to do it. And I'm excited to see these fan experiences actually reach the masses, because let's be honest, we talk about it so much. We talk about how cool it is, but I think it's still the crypto natives who are participating in these, and maybe not those diehard fans out there yet. Yeah. David?
Actually, Zach had his hand up. Do you want to chime in?
I mean, I just want to say POAPs are cool. And also I am, generally bullish on the idea of having these be keepsakes, right? I don't know about a secondary market. I think maybe one day, but I think just generally as a keepsake, I was at this thing, I was at this thing, I was at this thing. Crypto natives have long had that kind of with POAPs, right? You go here, you do a quest, and you get a POAP. And, POAPs don't have secondary value, right? There's nothing really that trades as it relates to POAPs, but you do have like a cool record associated with your wallet address of what you've done and where. And I think that is something that, if the UI is made simple enough, could have mainstream appeal, right? We're all sort of nostalgic saps. We like to know where we were and what we experienced and with whom. And I think that NFT ticketing does represent the possibility for that to happen in a really cool way. So yeah, I want to see more experiments like that. We've seen early experiments with, I think it was Block Party. There was a couple other folks in the past who have tried this stuff out, but it may have been a bit too early. So if it takes some of these mainstream brands to sort of move the needle, I'm all for it. But to date, it hasn't really been embraced just yet.
Before I go into my story, because my story is very interesting, I do want to say that the current way that we use NFT, like with a lot of these profile picture NFT projects, you actually have to own a specific NFT to get a ticket to go into an event. And that's very problematic for me. And the reason why it's problematic is because like if you have an NFT that is worth quite a bit of money, you don't want to keep that on your mobile device. It drives me absolutely crazy to see people in the NFT industry do that. I'm like, you guys, you're not like, you have to practice good OPSEC. That is the worst OPSEC ever. Yeah. So I feel like there has to be a way that you can prove that you own X NFT, but without having it on your phone and without really having to do too much work into your wallet and compromise your collection.
I will say one thing that is still kind of janky is the token gating experience, right? So I think that still needs to be addressed. You know, you need to make that more seamless. And I think that comes down at some level to wallet providers who build in that functionality to make it a bit more seamless. Because certainly now you got to verify, you got to go to some other third-party service. It becomes just this whole clunky process. So that, I think, the aspect is still a missing ingredient. Got to toss it to David for last thoughts on this one before we change gears.
My only last thought is this is an example of one of the downsides is possibly business model related. Obviously, Ticketmaster's margins are immense here, but if you're really building an NFT ticketing platform, the idea should be to take as little money as possible because you want the issuers to be handling all of this themselves, at least in theory. And so there is, I think, an open question as to if you're the one who owns the ticketing platform, whether it's an NFT or not, do you then have a motivation to rack up your own fees, or do you build it in such a way where it's actually usable by anybody and still maintain some of the same features? So I think the business model is a big lingering question here. So I'll just leave it at that.